Army riveted. After Jungkook's decision, Jimin opened his voice with a thrilling confession. Loudly crying face sparkles. This shocking news stems from one big decision Jungkook made, a decision that instantly changed the air in the ARMY community and left thousands of fans holding their breath. It didn't take long for Jungkook's name to catch on across platforms, while millions of people wondered what his emotional impact would be on the other members, especially Jimin, who for years had been the closest person to him. The wave of speculation continued to expand until finally, without any signs, Jimin appeared and finally opened his voice. But it was not just a response, but an emotional confession that made many soldiers feel thrown into a storm of warmth, honesty, and surprise that they could hardly describe in words. From the very beginning, the professional and emotional relationship between Jungkook and Jimin has been one of the centers of public attention. They are not just group mates, they are two individuals who balance each other, one impulsive but warm, one calm but emotional. So when Jungkook took such a big and far-reaching decision, many wondered, what was Jimin really feeling on that day? Jimin appeared in a short broadcast that initially only looked like a regular update to greet fans. But from the way he sat, the way he took a breath, even the way his eyes looked at the camera, ARMY knew there was something much bigger he wanted to convey. The suspense turned into the most awaited moment when Jimin began to speak slowly, sentence after sentence that sounded more sincere and thrilling. He admitted that Jungkook's decision was not something he could hear without feeling a strong tremor in his heart. He said that Jungkook has often harbored great things alone, and this decision shows how heavy a burden he is carrying, even though he tries to look tough. Jimin revealed that he knew Jungkook had been thinking about the move for a long time, but still hearing it firsthand made his heart tremble in a way he couldn't control. The speech immediately made the ARMY silent. There was something in the way Jimin delivered it, something much deeper than just a groupmate's comment. He didn't use sweet or dramatic words. He just spoke as he was, in a voice that truly reflected how much he appreciated Jungkook. He then added that whatever Jungkook's decision, he would fully support it. Although he had to be honest that there was a part of him that felt scared, worried, even almost defeated by the feeling of loss. But precisely therein lies the sincerity of his confession. He does not mask that emotion. He allows himself to look vulnerable. As he said that he never expected to feel this deep. The live chat exploded. Armies from around the world send their support, praise, and encouragement. Many said they could feel genuine love and care between the two, something BTS has always been a strong driver of. Over the next few minutes, Jimin explained that he had a long talk with Jungkook before the decision was announced. He admitted that the conversation made him realize something, that Jungkook was no longer the little boy he had been with since trainee, no longer the shy teenager he had always clung to. Jungkook is now a determined adult, and Jimin says realizing that makes him both proud and sad because he feels that time is passing too quickly. The atmosphere was even more emotional when Jimin mentioned their last moments before Jungkook announced the big decision. He said that Jungkook apologized to him, not because he made a mistake, but because he was worried that Jimin would feel shocked or hurt. Hearing that, Jimin admitted that he was at a loss for words because he felt that he should have apologized, not Jungkook. He always thinks of other people's feelings first, Jimin said in a trembling voice, even when he is carrying something heavy. The sincerity of this remark made thousands of ARMY wipe their tears. Many wrote that they felt the relationship between these two members was stronger than they ever imagined, but the most thrilling part is yet to come. At the end of the broadcast, Jimin added one sentence that instantly set the entire fandom in motion. "I wish all of you could support Jungkook as much as he always did for us." A simple sentence is like a big hug that warms, at the same time reminds how their relationship is built on mutual trust, mutual care, and affection that never fades despite changing circumstances. After the broadcast ended, Korean media immediately released various analyses and articles. Many journalists noted that this is one of the most frank moments of Jimin in recent years. Fans noted how her eye expression changed every time she mentioned Jungkook's name, as if she was speaking not just as a coworker, but as someone who truly understood what Jungkook was feeling. Of course, the army was not less excited. Many fans around the world said they couldn't breathe after hearing the emotional confession, and many felt that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship was getting stronger. Hashtags such as hashtag Jimin for Jungkook, hashtag We Support Jungkook, and hashtag Jungkook Moment dominated global trending for hours. Meanwhile, Jungkook himself has not given a direct response to Jimin's broadcast. But the army suspected that Jungkook had seen it, and many were convinced that he must have been touched. Over the years, their relationship has always attracted attention, but this time it feels different, more mature, more sincere, more emotionally aware. When viewed from the perspective of the relationship of two human beings who grew up together for more than a decade, this moment is the culmination of a mutual trust that cannot be made up. Jimin doesn't speak as an idol following a script. He speaks as someone who knows Jungkook in a way that no one else does. After the broadcast ended, the world seemed to stop for a moment. The fans were still glued to the screen, trying to digest what they had just heard from Jimin. It took a few minutes before the social media timeline moved again, and when it moved at the speed of a hurricane. The fans re-uploaded snippets of the video, slowing down Jimin's every eye movement, watching him swallow saliva, seeing how he lowered his head every time he said Jungkook's name, as if something was so heavy but also so important for him to take out. And it makes the whole already emotional atmosphere much more intense. The media started quoting Jimin's words. Korean and international entertainment analysts began to give their interpretations. Some called Jimin's confession the most honest moment in the history of his career, while others said that they had never seen Jimin speak in such a personal way, as if he was opening a door that he had always locked. Others highlighted how his tone changed when he mentioned Jungkook, implying that Jungkook's decision was not just a shock, but something that snapped the most fragile part of him. On the other hand, fans began to speculate loudly about what happened between the two before the decision was announced. Some viral posts gave rise to the theory that their private conversations took place more emotionally than imagined. The way Jimin talks, it's like he's watching Jungkook make the biggest decision of his life, and he's trying to be tough, but he can't hide the fear of losing it. And thousands of people agree. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the atmosphere between these two members was completely different from what it seemed on the surface. Jungkook himself, who was not performing or broadcasting at the time, was in a quiet dorm room. He sat on the edge of the bed with his cell phone in his hand, watching Jimin's broadcast again with a face that was difficult to explain. No cameras, no spotlight, just him and his emotions that he can no longer hide. He rewound the part when Jimin said that his heart trembled in a way that he couldn't control. And that very second, Jungkook closed his eyes and covered his face with his hands. A long breath came out, heavy and slow. He never imagined Jimin would speak so honestly in front of the whole world. He knew Jimin was someone who harbored many things, who always thought many times before opening his heart. So when Jimin actually spoke like that, Jungkook knew, this is not just a response. This is the deepest expression of someone who has accompanied him for many years. And now, after that confession shook the hearts of millions, the army can only wait for what the next step will be. But one thing is clear, Jungkook's decision not only changed the pace of his own life, but also opened the door for Jimin to express the deepest feelings he had kept.